as we wait for more news for Gran Turismo 7, the same speculation also comes to the car list. And in today's video, I wanted to make a part 2 to the car wish list that I made earlier. So in this video, I took into account some of the comments on the previous video and suggestions from other videos as well as some more cars that I personally felt would be an excellent addition to Gran Turismo 7. Let's start off with Asian cars again. So, this is probably not yet possible as the car is not fully revealed yet, but the Nissan 400Z would be an excellent car to add into Gran Turismo 7. A twin-turbo V6, manual transmission and rear-wheel drive, sign me up. That would be an amazing car to see in game. Next up, we have the Mitsubishi GTO twin-turbo. This is an old-school 90s monster, and this is one of my personal favorite old-school Japanese cars, and these are really sweet little cars, and I think it would be a great addition to Gran Turismo 7. Next up, we have the 2021 Honda Civic Type R Limited Edition. Now, I mentioned the standard Civic Type R in the last video, however, the limited edition is more track focused than the standard one. It comes with forged BBS wheels and all sorts of extra bits to help it really exceed on the track. This is why I think the Civic Type R Limited Edition would be perfect for Gran Turismo 7. Next up is the 2-liter turbo Toyota Supra. Now, we have the 3-liter turbo, but I think it would be good to have the 2-liter turbo as well, as Gran Turismo is famous for having multiple options for the same vehicle. Next up, let's move to American cars. Starting off with the newly revealed Tesla Model S Plaid Plus. I don't even know where to start with this thing. Over 1,000 horsepower, under a 2-second 0 to 60 time, and around a 200 mile an hour top speed. This thing is just absolutely insane, and it is just would be perfect for Gran Turismo 7. It's a car that I have a feeling a lot of people want to mess around with and see how Teslas can take to the track as well. So for these reasons, I think the Model S Plaid Plus would be perfect for Gran Turismo 7. Next up in regards to Tesla would be the original Tesla Roadster, not the new one that may or may not ever come out. The original Tesla Roadster, the first one Tesla ever built. Next up, let's go to Ford, starting off with the brand new Ford Bronco. This would be a great car for rally racing and taking this thing off-road in some of the rally-focused tracks that we have. I think it would be excellent for that. Next up, we have the Mustang Mach E Gt. Now, the GT isn't quite available to the public yet. However, I think it might be possible to fit it in Gran Turismo 7. And I think it'd be a great idea to have more electric vehicles. Continuing with Ford, we have the 2015 Ford Focus ST, but that car is already in Gran Turismo Sport, so I'm suggesting we add the 2014 Ford Fiesta ST. These cars are just a blast, and I would think it would be so much fun to have one of these in Gran Turismo 7. Lastly, for American cars, we have the Dodge Durango Hellcat. This is a limited production Hellcat version of the family crossover Dodge Durango, and I think that this is just proves how insane Dodge is by putting a Hellcat motor in a family SUV, but it would be perfect for Gran Turismo 7. Moving on to European cars. Let's start off with the Rolls-Royce Phantom 8. This car is newly revealed, and it is just stunning in terms of looks, and in terms of performance, I'm pretty sure these things are quick in a straight line. But obviously that is not what they're built for. They are built for slow, just isolating you from the driving experience as much as possible. And this would be a great car, just a car to mess around with in game, not take too seriously, but build it up, see what it can do in terms of track driving. Next up, we have the 2020 and up Bentley Continental GT. Like the Rolls-Royce, this is more of a luxury vehicle, but these things are bullets in a straight line, and I think that the new Continental GT is based on the Porsche Panamera platform. So that would mean it is more handling focused than the previous generation, which should mean it should do well on racetracks in Gran Turismo 7. Next up, we have the Mercedes AMG GT Black Series. This thing is pretty new, and it has a flat plane crankshaft V8 with crazy horsepower, and this would be an excellent car for really learning the Nürburgring, and that's why it's a perfect fit for Gran Turismo 7. In terms of AMG cars, I think the Mercedes AMG A45S would be perfect as well. A fun little hot hatch, which has, over 400 horsepower, Switching over to Porsche, let's start off with the Porsche 918. I do not know why this car is not in Gran Turismo Sport, but I think it would be a perfect fit in Gran Turismo 7. Continuing with Porsche, let's stick with the Porsche 911 GT2 RS, specifically the most recent one. You know, this car is just insane in terms of performance and trackability, so that's why it'd be perfect in Gran Turismo 7. Switching over to Audi, let's start with the Audi R7 Sportback. This vehicle was recently refreshed, and I think that this would be a great vehicle in terms of this would be great for straight line racing, so you could tune it and you could have a really great drag car or roll racing car. I think the R7 would be perfect for that. With a more tame version of an Audi, let's stick with the Audi S4 Sedan. This is a car that, you know, is more realistic in terms of what most people can afford and buy, so this car would be great in terms of you could kind of build your dream Audi S4 in-game. I think that's why it would be perfect. Switching over to Ferrari, let's start off with the Ferrari 488 Pista. Now this car is very limited, very rare, very special Ferrari, and kind of a send-off for the Ferrari 488. So it would be great to have in Gran Turismo 7. Next up, we have the Ferrari F8 Tributeo. This is a beautiful car and just one of the more recent Ferraris. Crazy powertrain. I think this car would be excellent in terms of track driving. Next up, the Ferrari Roma. This is a more GT focused Ferrari. It's a replacement for the California and the California T of old. Moving on to BMW, let's start with the BMW Alpina B7, specifically the new one. Now, while this continues BMW's trend of having massive grills in the front end, possibly way overstyled in the front, I think that these cars are really special and unique, especially in terms of looks. I think that the looks, aside from that grille, it is a beautiful car. Next up, in terms of BMW SUVs, we have the X3m Competition. This is the most car-like SUV that BMW makes, so that's why I'm suggesting it here. Next up, we have the Bmw Z4 M40i. This would be a really good rival to the Supra in-game as they share the same platform. Next up would be the Bmw M2 Cs. This is a very limited car, kind of a send-off for the M2. Next up, switching over to Lamborghini, we have the Lamborghini Huracan Evo. I believe the Evo was more of a refresh for the Huracan, bringing it more into the more modern realm of supercars. Great car to take around racetracks and see just how much performance you can squeeze out of it. Next up, the Lamborghini Aventador Svj. This is the more track-focused version of the Aventador, and while we have the Aventador SV in Gran Turismo Sport, I think the Svj would be really good to improve your Lamborghini collection and would be really great for racetracks. Finally, we have the Mclaren 765 LT. If you've been keeping up with this car, you know that this car is breaking records everywhere in terms of quarter-mile times and presumably lap times as well. The Mclaren 765 LT is a more old-school supercar in the way that it is so powerful and so insane that it's almost scary to drive, and I think that's one of the reasons why it feels so special. So that's it for this video. If you guys have any more suggestions for vehicles, please leave them in the comments below and I'll be replying to. Alright, so if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be so much appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next video.